What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. Oh, a little bit of a mix-up there. There, we're back. Sorry about that. So let me say that again. Dr. Vibe, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020, Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers that is sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that collaboration, I've reached out with a team, not by myself, with a team. We reached out directly and indirectly to over 100,000 fathers and dads in 2022 and 2021. As always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And we are broadcasting live on July 27th. And we're doing the Dr. Vibes Allies things. And what that is all about is it's a live online event where Black men from 3 different countries, Canada, America, and England, and 2 continents, North America and Europe, discuss subjects that are important to Black men and those who love them. At the present time, we have 3 gentlemen, 2 countries, but we also have 2 continents. So we keep the 2-continent banner. And thanks anyone who is watching this live. Please provide comments. Please. Thanks for jumping on, everybody. And say hello in the comments and say where you are chiming in from. So let me bring up 2 of the allies. So let's do that. We've got Mr. Victory Unlimited and we've got Mr. Clive Henri. So what's going on, gentlemen?
Good evening, Dr. Vibe. Good evening, fellas, and good evening, listeners. It's all good. The time is 2 a.m. in the UK, so it's a.m. July 28th.
Wow. From Nottingham.
Nottingham, Robin Hood City.
In England. What is going on, VU?
I'm always outnumbered, but I'm never outgunned, keeping all the suckers on the run.
Outnumbered, but I love that. Never outnumbered.
No, I'm always outnumbered.
Always outnumbered and never outgunned. Sorry, I got to get that right. That's good. I like that. Am I allowed to use that?
Oh, look, all day, every day.
Jeez. I love it, gentlemen. What's been going on? For people who don't know, we do this once a month, last Thursday of the month, as much as possible. We just get together, chop it up on things that are going through our alleged minds or things that we've seen that we want to share about. And if you go to the Dr. Vibe website, then you can see how long, when we started a long time ago. I can't remember off the top of my alleged mind when we started this, but we've been doing it pretty consistently for a long period of time. So speaking about that, some house chores. So as always, if you have the time and you feel like it, please like the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button so you get notified when we have epic conversations. And then also, if you want to advertise on this platform or any of the platforms that I host epic conversations on, please email me, dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. So that's some house things that are going on. We can get right into it, gentlemen. Any things that are on your alleged mind that you want to chat about tonight, or I'll just pull some things out and we can just chat. Anything you guys want to start off with?
Yeah, I would just like to throw this out. This is a little anecdote. Yesterday, I was watching the hearing in Washington on UFOs.
Oh, yeah. Clue me in on this because I started seeing stuff about aliens.
Right. They had like three whistleblowers, and they were
Okay.
giving their opinions, and they were giving information in regards to the things they've seen, the things they've heard, and it was very interesting. Of course, no real proof was shown, and they were sworn or forbidden to speak freely, the usual. And the only reason I bring it up is because I always find it amazing that we here on Earth, who can barely get along with each other, are always so eager to meet little green men.
Or big
I
green
knew
men.
I knew
Yeah,
that
there you go. A big ones too. You're right, Clive.
Oh, that's hilarious. But so let me ask for you, doesn't the American government have more important things to have hearings about? I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
There are always more important things to have hearings about, but the distraction is the attraction. So
Yes.
that's what's going on. So if we can distract from things that are critical while the wool continues to be pulled over many eyes, I think that's mission accomplished for some.
Mhm.
What was the prompting to have these hearings? I don't get this. Why were these hearings? What was the catalyst, or what was the reason they were having these hearings? Because they've been talking about UFOs for years.
From what I can tell, it's reached a bit of a critical mass, a bunch of sightings, all compressed within a short time frame. I think that there was a incident, I believe in Nevada, whereas there was a strangely lit object fell out of the sky in someone's backyard and it was caught on police cameras, and that kind of nudged everybody to start talking about this more. So I just guess it was time to talk UFOs, or as they call them now, UAPs. I think it's unidentified aerial phenomena. Yeah, they rebranded it.
Oh
That's what they call
gosh.
it. Yeah, they're calling it that now.
Another acronym for me to know? Sorry, I'm full. Clive, what do you think about
Well, I think the UFO phenomena has been going on since the beginning of time, with every part of the world having record of them. Or we can't be the only people on the planet in the sea. They've got things in the sea. There's things with mermaids and things of that nature, and stories that people have told, unidentified flying objects with pilots. I've read a lot of the stuff. I used to be into it, a lot when I was young. But at the same time, there are always strange things what happen to people. So, they've got to be addressed. But like as VU says, it's like the time now where they're pushing these things to distract you from other things. It's like people are trying to live right now and pay their bills, and the bills are through the roof, and they want to talk about UFOs. Unless the UFOs can bring a solution with like new energy or free energy, I don't think the Americans or anyone will be really that bothered about that. It's like you need
you
the world's
know,
crazy. The world is crazy right now.
maybe I subscribe to one too
uh,
many conspiracy theories, but
so
I
I've
could.
just sent the link again to Juice Man Jonathan Shaw. There's about 3 or 4 conversation topics that have just hit my head in the last 2 or 3 minutes. But I want you, gentlemen, as always, if there's anything you want to chat about, let's bring it. If not, I've got a number of different conversation topics.
Oh, I was just going to wrap up the UFO thing.
No,
Just
UAP or
yeah,
whatever it's called
thank
now.
you, thank you for correcting me. Yeah, the UAP. Um, I just want to point out. Usually, I've learned from being a conspiracy theorist, but then again, if it really is a conspiracy, is it a theory? But anyway, I was looking at it this way: whenever the world is pointing over here to the left, I think that's the best time to start looking over to the right.
Mm,
Yep.
So,
mm,
so
I got you.
everybody, open your eyes. That's all I can say.
Okay, so Juice Man saying, is there a link for? I've just sent an email to you again, Juice Man, but this is what else I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go, maybe because I'm gonna send it from my uh my uh my Gmail account. Maybe that's why he's not getting it.
Doc, we might have to go on a rescue mission if Juice Man is trapped behind enemy lines.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I got you. I got you. Okay, this. Okay. So I'm sending him from 2 different email addresses. So if he ain't getting it from 2 different email addresses, I can't help my brother. Well, okay. Any other topics you guys want to chat about? Like I said, because I do so many live conversations now, there's so many things that we can chat about. Oh, okay. Anything else you guys want to roll on, or do you want me to put some things out there?
This is Dr. Vibe Show, man. Put it out
No,
there.
no, no, no. It's Ally Show. Don't go there. Don't
Oh,
go
I'm
there.
sorry.
It's
I'm
Ally
sorry.
Show. It's
It's
never
the
been my
Dr.
show.
Vibes
I
Allies
just
Show.
I just steer the ship. You brothers drive the ship, and once in a while I'll hop on. But I like to be that guy in the rudder, just we just do that thing. Any other conversation down, because I got, as I said, every time I open my alleged mouth and something comes into my alleged mind, there's different things we can chat about.
I'm good with whatever you come up with. You got something, Clive?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I
Okay.
mean, we're in England. This is the land of cold normally, but we've had some very good weather. So
Okay. I got something that's Toronto based but internationally based. So over the last week or two, if you follow anything in Toronto news, it's become very apparent that we have a refugee crisis, especially in Toronto. There were about 200 refugees from Africa that were sleeping on sidewalks in downtown Toronto.
whoa.
And it didn't really become a big news item until a gentleman who owns a Middle Eastern food chain came on the media and said, "This is ridiculous," da, 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 da. And then all of a sudden, melanated organizations got involved in the case. So it's interesting because many a time when I'm listening to the media, when I do, I've always heard the highlight of refugee crisis, especially in America, with people coming up from Southern America, etc. But now Toronto is dealing with this crisis, and they eventually got them into a church, and they're living in a church. But it just seemed, and I know some people who work for the city of Toronto government in their social services department, and they say they give priority to, they still, since it happened, Ukrainian refugees over anybody else. So I just put it out there. I don't know, Clive, if you're in England, are they experiencing how they're handling refugees, melanated versus non-melanated? And VU, again, do you get exposed or have any thoughts on the whole refugee crisis, which seems to be a global thing?
Exactly, exactly. Well, I can speak for England. Basically, there's still privilege in, refugees, and the Ukrainian people have got high priority coming into the UK. They're paying people to house them, and I think the bill I worked out to be like 100,000 people.
Clive, I just want to interrupt you. Be careful because your microphone is rubbing against your shirt,
Oh,
and
okay.
people we're hearing it rub there. So just don't want to disturb the listening experience, the audio experience for the viewers and listeners. So go ahead.
Okay, so I was just saying in the UK, the Ukraine people they're still privileged because there's, I think, 100,000 refugees, and I think the bill was like 35 million a month for people to house people, and then other people, melanated people, are being turned back and sent to Rwanda. So there's been a big legal battle about where melanated people are going. So yeah, so it's terrible to see, but it's obvious, and it's showing people what happens when you are a melanated person. It happens in every level of society, even at the worst war scenarios.
Okay.
Yeah,
VU?
yeah, and I'll just add to what Clive just mentioned. Now, didn't I just say how ironic it is that people want to meet little green or big green men, but they can't get along with the people right down here on Earth right now? Case in point, you see how it's all connected? But to that, I will say, the United States has been so gung ho about giving money to other nations and to the Ukraine, especially. I think it was about a month ago it was
Okay. We
revealed that there's
lost
been
VU for a second here. Clive, you may need to turn back in because VU has gone offline.
You got off?
Can you hear
VU
Okay.
me?
can, yeah, now we can go back. Go ahead, VU.
Oh, I was just saying that there was actually an accounting error that was revealed maybe about a month or so ago, that the United States government keeps misjudging how many billions they've given to Ukraine. And all they can basically say is, oh, my bad. It was really this many billion. Now, I think that is ridiculous when you got people in the country who are really in need of funding and support, but they count every penny for that. But the Ukraine, let's just open the coffers. So I think that's very interesting and very telling.
Where do both of you lie when it comes to immigration? I'll use it. I was watching something a few weeks ago how melanated people are up in arms in Chicago saying that so much money is being given to house, especially Ukrainians or non-melanated people. But when it comes to helping melanated American-born people, they're always at the bottom of the totem pole. Is that the same situation in England? Would love to know, since we have a global perspective here, we have a global panel.
I will say this. No matter where you are in the world as a melanated person, you will always be at the bottom of the totem pole, looked at as in, you know, any help, any handout, the basic needs you have to fight for. The only time when I've heard that black people were going first was when they wanted to give the shot a few
Oh
years
well,
back.
that's a whole other conversation too. That'll be that's an interesting point. And someone, a commentator I listened to, saying, "Man, they never paid more, non-male people, especially companies, never paid more attention to male people than when it was in history. Nothing compares to giving the shot."
Exactly. So, yeah, it happens here, and I watch the news from around the world, and it's happening everywhere. Even when the war was in the Ukraine and black people were trying to get out of Ukraine, they was the last to get on the trains, and they was trying to stop them getting on the trains, and there was all that news. I don't know if you've seen it over where you are, but it just shows you racism is as real as it is everywhere. It doesn't really matter. They are never going to give you any basic needs or a basic respect. You have to fight for everything.
Well, finally, we have another member of the family who has finally, I think, joined us. Jonathan Juiceman Shaw, what's going on?
Hey, how
Yes,
you
Juice
doing?
Man.
What's up?
Not much. Can you see me? Everything good? Everything wonderful?
Yeah, we can see. We know you're still dark, so that's a good thing. How's the family doing?
Everything is okay. I'm over at my fiance's house. I got to get used to saying that.
Oh, yes.
In the sense of, I hope I didn't touch something. Is this better for
Well,
you guys?
well, now, no, you're moving around. You got to stay
Sorry.
steady.
Sorry. Okay.
Okay.
Is that better? Is that better?
Yes, that's if you can keep it like that, but it's still jiggling a little bit.
Yeah, I'm just trying to tighten this thing in.
Yeah, and then need you to. Oh.
Okay, you know what? Okay, hold on. Sorry, I'm taking the roller coaster
VU.
ride.
It's like the UAP people are on Juice Man's machine.
You know
Yeah,
what
you
it is?
gotta look out for them.
What? Okay.
You know what? Okay, I'm basically gonna turn my camera off for a second if I can do that.
Okay.
And then try to fix this little thing here.
Okay.
I'm good, guys.
Good.
My fiance had shoulder surgery.
Oh.
So I'm over at her house right now. She had orthoscopic surgery, or arthroscopic surgery as they call it. And I'm over here in her room and just trying to set up stuff in a foreign place to make everything work. And I think,
so.
Yeah, I'm good now. All right.
There we go.
All right.
There we go. So, Juice Man.
Yes.
Before we get to this, the subject we're chatting about right now, and I need you to move a little bit to your left, so you're more center in this. More.
Hold on.
Okay,
Sorry
that's
about
good
this,
right there,
guys.
right there, yeah, right there.
Okay,
right there.
hey, okay, don't
All
touch
right,
it,
right
don't
there.
touch it,
All
okay.
right, all
All
right.
right,
You
okay.
you know the sense. So good to have you as always. You don't play vinyl anymore, do you?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, you need to get in touch with me because my dad is starting to give away his collection.
Give away vinyl?
And you got to move your camera again. He's giving away his collection. No. Well, the funny thing, well, it won't get
Sorry,
too deep into it, but he's been giving.
I'm
He's
getting a
been
nervous
giving.
tick. I'm getting a nervous tick.
Yeah, he's been giving it away to some of the collectors, and then a gentleman came up from the Brooklyn to buy stuff, gave him a lot of money, but there's still apparently a lot of stuff still left, and it's my dibs. And after I give my dibs, then he's gonna get. Okay. So you and I need to talk, real. But he's giving away. So for people who may not know, and Juice Man's frozen for a bit now. My dad is an avid music collector to the point where he's a member of the Vinyl Collectors Hall of Fame of America.
Whoa.
So he's at the point now.
Great
He's getting he's giving away. He's been giving away stuff to collectors. Then the guy came up from Brooklyn the other day. He told me it wasn't going to happen until he transitioned. But this guy, he says, you want to look at some stuff? I go, okay. I didn't know. He just sort of let him. The guy came and said, look, Dad, whatever you want. But apparently there's still a lot of stuff left. He told me.
I just want to know, like what happened? Like
I don't know, but I thought we'll get back to our main subject, but Juice Man's on. I know he's a hard man to get hold, so I wanted to put here. So Juice Man, if you want to get some of the vault stuff, get in touch with me.
Okay.
Right. And you can, like, there was a guy there, as I said, from Brooklyn. He was there for about 8 hours. Now my dad still says there's still a lot of stuff left.
I think there's maybe like when I think about it, there's maybe a couple of songs, like not like I'm not one of those people who are gonna be like, hey, let me take 5 million records from you. Yeah. Probably be like, I'll go through everything and then like songs that I'm like, okay, now.
Yeah, so Juice Man has been to my dad's dungeon. My dad had a man cave
the
before.
Vault.
It was
the vault.
The vault. He doesn't have a man cave. He has a vault.
The vault. Yeah.
So there's stuff that's been pulled out, but apparently there's still stuff there. Now it's my turn now. So Juice Man, I consider you part of me. You're gonna get you get your digs into it. Now let's get to our regularly scheduled podcast.
Sorry about that. Okay.
And no problem. But also Juice Man's been involved in this. I was just sharing about the situation with the 200 African refugees in Toronto.
Oh man.
But
Wow.
And I know you've probably done some donation to this.
Okay. Permission to speak freely.
Yep.
Okay, so last week Thursday we did a very impromptu. The dance hall community of Toronto basically called up a whole bunch of people and said, hey, come to the JCA, donate some stuff. And we filled a cube van and another van full of stuff and brought it over to the 200 refugees. You know what, because this is a podcast and I'm basically going to say this, that a certain someone who has a title will be dropping by where they are tomorrow to do a press conference. And
do I know of this person?
They just won. I'll just leave it at that. I can't really say what I know, but
you can put it in the chat. You can put it in the private chat.
Yeah, there'll be something there'll be something that is happening tomorrow.
Okay. Well, what we were talking about before you came on is just how the treatment of melanated and non-melan. We just lost them again.
No, I'm here.
Okay, the treatment of non-melanated and melanated refugees. So treatment of melanated people from Africa versus people from countries like Poland. Not Poland, Ukraine. Sorry. Yes. What do you feel? What does that make you feel? And how does that make you feel?
Well, I know the reasons for it. Number one, they already have everything that they need. They've already plundered and and taken everything they've needed from the African continent. Remember, the African continent doesn't need to import anything. They export everything. So this country has this part of Africa, that country has that part of Africa, this country already has that. So as far as the people are concerned, they don't need them. You know, they're basically looked at, unfortunately, as wasted space. But they need stuff from the Ukraine. So that's why you see them pouring money into helping the Ukraine, where they because it's strategic for them to have the Ukraine. They need to have those individuals, those resources over here. That's why you're going to see the Prime Minister of Canada talk about it. You're going to see all the mayors and everybody do stuff about it. You're going to see people open arms and have them stay in hotels and whatever the case may be. But with us, it's, you know, it's sleep on the floor. It's 200 plus people, you know, using 2 bathrooms. You know what I mean? That's what it is. We've had to take care of our own. Not the government. We've had to do it. We who they already say is at the bottom of the barrel have to take care of our own people, because nobody else will take care of them the way they should be. Now think about it. A refugee comes to Canada and is sleeping on our streets.
Downtown streets.
Downtown streets.
Yeah, not just streets. Downtown core streets.
Downtown streets. Okay. Now they get taken from that location to a church, and they've been there. And where is the outpouring of people? However, and I'm gonna get flack for this. So,
Don't you know? It's all right.
Because this hits home for me. Because again, I was last week Thursday seeing all the stuff that came in, the donations, whatever, and I'm seeing all the people do this. But there was no media that came by to check out what we're doing. There was no real fanfare behind it. You know, there was no real anything. But again, the Black community, the dancehall community, the ghetto community, as they call people from the dancehall world, did something about it. However, there was a dog that was shot.
Yes.
And they closed the highway.
What?
Yes.
They closed the highway.
Yeah, there was a procession on the highway for the dog.
They had, listen, the flags are flying at half mast at police stations across
Toronto.
Across Toronto, right?
Maybe even
people
wider.
Are shedding tears for this dog. They had a whole like you know, they had a coffin for the dog. They brought the coffin out, and the only thing I did not see was honestly somebody selling soup over in the corner and somebody ready to do the 9-night after this dog was dead. Straight up.
Whoa.
I'm sorry to be that crass about it, but I'm saying to myself, you got 200 people sleeping on the street and not one police officer and all those other individuals, you know, came to their aid. But for this dog, there's a whole military send-off. I get it. I mean, hey, you know, it's part they've done stuff, whatever. But you're showing the people who have come to this wonderful first world country that you have more reverence for a dog than you do them. I'll leave it there. And this isn't the first time this has happened in this country. Carabana, if you remember, a lady was shot in England, from England, right? And they raised what? I think it was $360 for her. And she was left paralyzed. She was a nurse from England. This happened like back, I think, 1996. And again, a dog was hurt. And they raised $6,000 for this dog. So what are you showing the people that come from other countries what they're worth here in this country of Canada? I'll leave it there. And again, Dr. Vibe, you can fact check anything I'm saying.
No, I know it's true. I know it's true. Now, First of all, Clive or Victory, do you have anything? Well, you know what? Actually, we're going to take a quick little break. And I said to VU before we came on live, I had a little bit of a surprise that, so I'm going to just, we're going to take about a 90-second break, but it's going to be a very interesting 90-second break because there's someone who is a fan of what I do, and I'm humbled. So I want to share this with you. So we'll be back in about 90 seconds. Check this out, family.
You know, and that's what I feel like. You feel like you're the Harry Tubman of the mind.
I am.
I feel like I'm the Harry. I'm one of the Harry Tubmans of intelligent Black people. Like I want to liberate y'all from like being left behind and ignored and oblivion. No, really, the rappers get all the attention. You know, seriously, does anybody else feel this way? Like ignorant Black people, they'll be all up, you know, getting all the headlines on the Shade Room.
Overly sexualized Black folks.
Over like the twerkers and the, you know, just people that, you know, don't always represent the best of us, you know, the diversity, you know, like people like Dr. Vibe. Like everybody should know about people like Dr. Vibe. Dr.
really
Vibe
should.
he's trying to do good work for Black people.
Dr. Vibe from Toronto. Good to see you, my brother. Dr. Vibe. Everybody follow Dr. Vibe. He has a great show. He's very good at what he does, and I have a lot of respect for him.
Okay, so let me hop into this. What's up, Dr. Vibe? How you doing? Everybody, if you see Dr. Vibe in the chat, everybody go follow the Dr. Vibe show. Dr. Vibe is a real smart brother and a good human being. I like the guy a lot, and he's very intelligent. And I think everyone should pay attention to what he's got going on. We got to shine the spotlight on the intelligent Black people out here that are really doing the good work. Don't just pay attention to the rappers and the celebrities. You know, a lot of these people are losers. Your true winners are your people in your community that are really having your back. You know, helping us to have stronger families and a stronger community. So Dr. Vibe is in that category. So you might see the Dr. Vibe show in this chat. If you see him, please go follow him. Okay. All right. So anyway.
Excellent.
Nice one. Nice one. Boyce Watkins.
So that's all of you all. That's not just me, all of you all.
Yeah.
So that is a gentleman, if you don't know, is named Dr. Boyce Watkins and his lovely wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins. And I've been humbled to get some positive commentary from Dr. Boyce in regards to that. So I thought I'd just play that little 90-second break. I'm going to start playing it all over the place. But we left off about Juice Man saying about the situation. Victory, Clive, either from what Juice Man shared or if you want to expand on that, what he shared about just the way melanated people are treated and respected or disrespected.
I'll chime in. I basically want to say as melanated people, like Juice Man says, we have got to look after us. There's even when things are negative, they are still positive because you are learning truth. They are showing you how they feel about you. My thought patterns have changed over the years, and even when something's negative, it's still, what am I getting from it? I am gaining something from it. I'm gaining wisdom, or I'm gaining education to know what to do. I'm learning how these people act, and I'm learning how to adapt to the situation. And that's what we have to do as Black people, that we look after our own and take people in. You know, we need that unity. When we have that unity and people start really showing that they care about others, whether it be your family or strangers or friends, then we will have a change in mental capacity and realize that we're strong, because they use words like minority, and it makes me laugh every time I hear that word, because across the globe, melanated people are the majority, and people just need to see more. It's like, it really is an education thing. It's like in America, they go the World Series or whatever because they want you to have that closed mindset. But in the UK, we get world news, and we know, because the UK was an empire, they've got their fingers in so many pies. I'm looking at news in Brazil where Black people are. I'm looking at news in Africa where Black people are. I'm looking at news in America where Black people are. I'm looking at news everywhere where Black people are. And even when they don't show them as being Black people, like places like Thailand or the Philippines, Black people originated there. They've got Black roots there everywhere. India, you name it, Black people went there first. So we just got to expand, and we've got to share things, and we've got to take people in and love people as our own flesh and blood. And therefore, we will make the change, because the government's not going to do it, and they're showing you how they feel about you. So if people are not waking up to this and think, oh yeah, they're really cool, you know, you got to think about the future generations. Are we going to keep living like this for the next 400 years, or are we going to go, okay, then they're not doing it, let's do it? You know, we've got enough money. If we put it together, it's like the sea. If you've got a river and you've got enough water, it goes into the sea. Everything goes into the sea. It's just, you know, on its own, it's nothing. But when it's combined with millions and millions and millions of droplets of water, just like millions of people, it becomes a force. And this is the thing I always say to people: in the days of slavery, there was two things that they stopped you doing, and that was unifying and education. These are the kryptonite. If you want to change anything, you do those two things, and I guarantee change will happen faster than you can even think, because they're not expecting it, you know. So I'll leave it there, but this is what we need to start focusing on, our own, looking after our own.
VU, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I agree with Jonathan. I agree with Clive. I know that many times there's a feeling of overwhelm that I see our community facing. Feelings of overwhelm, like the odds are stacked against us, and we often are drowning in our circumstances. But as I say from time to time, a circumstance is just that, a circle in which you are standing. So maybe your reach only goes so far, but maybe once again, those are the people that you are to reach, those who are closest to you. So when we respond with acts of love, it will compound. The interest will compound and it will spread. Very similar to what Clive just mentioned.
Let me ask, situations like this is not just central to Toronto. I'm sure in each one of our countries, it's either has or is happening. Who should the blame be put on? Should it be blamed on people who look like us? Should it be put on the government? Some people say we're not taking care of our own, so this is why this is happening. Where other people say, well, the government should help take care of these people, because I remember a quote a number of years ago: you can determine how well a society is run by the way it treats its least fortunate. So who do you feel is to point a finger or fingers at in regards to a situation like what's going on in Toronto with melanated refugees?
I'll jump in right quick and just say this. I think that whatever the entity is that either causes the problem or sanctions it by non-action should be the entity that should take a heavy involvement in correcting it. I think government can do quite a lot that they don't do, and we need to put pressure on the governments to do these things that only governments can do.
Juice man.
I think as a society, I think it's everybody's responsibility to make sure that everyone is taken care of. Canada is a socialist society, so we're supposed to take care of our own.
Okay, I'm gonna politely interrupt you there on that. So two things. Okay. First of all, I don't believe that this is social society. I don't think, just my thoughts, and I don't put my thoughts out there a lot because it's your guys' show. I don't even think it's democracy. I think it's a capitalistic system.
I would agree, but again, this is what they tell us. This is the things that they feed us. They tell us. They say that we are socialists. That's what they say that we are.
Yeah.
So we live in, right? So by the definition that we went to school and we learned, this is what they're supposed to do, but they don't do it. We live in a very conservative society. We don't like change. We don't like things to be altered at all. Once things are altered in any little way, it's a problem, right? And this happens in every facet. And we only do things when there is a problem. And that's how the world works. And to be honest with you, Bill Gates is a genius by it. And I'll tell you why. And correct me if I'm wrong. Every so often, there was a new Microsoft product that was put out, right? Windows 95 spent $27 million, went to the Rolling Stones, paid $27 million for 27 seconds of Start Me Up for Windows 95. It was supposed to revolutionize the world as far as our operating system. And he put it out there, right? And you told him what was wrong with it. And then he fixed the problem. Came out with Windows 97. Put it out there again. You told them what was wrong with it, and they fixed it. You have an iPhone. Then they come out with bug fixes. Then they come out with iPhone this one, and iPhone that one, or whatever. They give you a fix. They put out a car. The only time that they fix the problem is when there's a problem. I was always brought up with prevention is better than cure. That's what I was told. That has been a lie to me my whole entire life, because they don't prevent anything. They wait for a problem to happen, and that's when they put dollars to fix it. And when it comes to, and the person who yells the loudest gets the most money, and it goes down and goes down and goes down. But we've been yelling for a long time, but nobody will hear us. Why? Because they don't think that that we need to do anything. They already believe that we're just gonna do what we do. There's certain companies that don't advertise to the Black community because they say, you know what, hey, they're gonna buy our product anyway, so why bother? And they have the statistics to prove it. They know that we are a community that will always rally together. We have our churches, we have our people, we have our this. So they're like, yeah, we don't really need to deal with them. It's only when we affect change that they go, But remember, they've already stacked the deck against us.
Jonathan froze on us. Hold on. I think he's going to come back.
Am I there again?
Yes, you're back.
On my side, I'm not freezing. Maybe
it's on my end. Don't worry. Just keep on going through.
Maybe it's the Rexdale internet. I'm on.
I can hear you all the way through, Jonathan.
I can hear you.
Yeah, no worries. Go on. Keep on going.
But basically what it is that what's really troubling is that as a society, we are looked upon as the lowest of the low, and it hasn't changed. We fought for Black rights, and everybody else profited off of it, right? There are certain words that we are not allowed to use anymore because other groups of people feel offended when we use those words. But we are still considered by those things. We are still, it's not too long ago that we had people who had to write newspapers to capitalize the letter N in the word Negro, capitalize the word B in the word Black. And these are things that they had to fight to do. And why does this keep happening? Because they don't consider us as diners at the table. And we, for too long, have went to a warlike people peacefully, and nothing has happened.
Question then: have we accepted the soup? And is it a point where we have to rebuild ourselves because many of us, many people, have been given a lie?
We've been given a lie, but one of the things that's also happened is our attention span has went from 30 seconds down to 15 seconds. Remember, there was even when it comes to music, there was a time when we would love to get that 12-inch long disco play record that was 7 minutes long, that had a break at the beginning of it that was 36 seconds long. Songs used to be around 4 minutes. Now songs are barely 2 minutes. Why? Because our attention span has went down so much. They put out TikTok, right? TikTok has taken 30-second clips and put them down to 15 seconds. In Canada, when it comes to a commercial, we can't stomach more than 30 seconds. In the States, they still can do a minute. But in Canada, it's 30 seconds. And even now they're doing a thing called cut downs, where
15.
they're making it We're making it 15 seconds.
I pay when I do watch TV, I pay attention to how long the commercials are.
Yeah,
and it's
they're 15
the large
seconds
majority
long.
they're 15. The large majority are 15.
And what they're doing is a thing called top and tail, because they realize that the attention span of the average individual is lower. And because we as a community have been 180 degrees out of phase for a long time, we accept foolishness more than we accept the truth.
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave it at that.
Anyone else want to add on? Juices come out guns a-blazing, as per usual. Do we as melanated people have to accept some of the responsibility, though? And the reason I'm asking is, putting this out there is, to be honest, I don't expect non-melanated people to have us they may have us a priority, but they got to take care of their own first.
Yeah,
So,
this is.
Go ahead, VU.
This is VU. There's an old slogan down here in the South, and I think it applies to this situation. And that slogan is, sometimes every squirrel has to hold his own nuts.
Interesting way of putting it.
And and so I think that's true. You know, there are always two wars to be fought. Always two wars to be fought: the war at home and the war away. So yeah, we should do the things that we can do, those things that are within our power, to help ourselves, as many of us are doing. But we should also hold those accountable who have more power than us on a systemic level to make changes as well. So I think we should attack it from both angles.
There's an African proverb. I'm sorry to cut in, and that says something with regard to children will burn down a village in order to feel its warmth. Mm-hmm. And in saying that, a lot of times there's this major disconnect between the haves and the have-nots within our society. And there's also this feeling that once you've made it, you're supposed to give back. And that doesn't happen anymore. There's this feeling, and I don't know if you've realized this as well too, depending on where you are. But I remember as a youngster, our front door was always open. The door was always open that family could just open up the door and come into our house. They never really knocked. They didn't really whatever. And that's the thing that I witnessed in Ghana, where people would walk. They didn't even call. It was such a blessing to see people come by their house on a Sunday, and the little kid would run to the corner store and buy alcohol to pour libations for people, whatever. That whole feeling of, on a Sunday that you cook for the person that doesn't arrive is a very African tradition. And here we have African people coming to our country who are sleeping on the street because we don't have food to provide for them. We don't have things to provide for them. It blows my mind that we don't have that. But also, and the biggest thing is I won't say that we've forgotten our way, but the more and more that we have been in the Western world or away from the continent, we've assimilated into the Eurocentric way of doing things, which again is capitalism, which again is building wealth, which is all these things that are foreign for who we are. And it's only until the sun is blazing in the summertime that we actually wake up, because we get our melanin recharge and realize how foolish things are. And what do? That's when we go out and protest. That's when we decide to get together and do stuff, because we're in a cold country. We're in coldness, or even people in the South. It's still not the way it's supposed to be. We are supposed to take care of our own, no matter what. We are supposed to build for the future. Our father time is undefeated. We're only here for X amount of time, and we are dying. We're dying out there. But again, we would rather raise men to have a bedtime. And I guess you guys don't understand what I'm talking about.
I do.
We're raising men right now to go in a jail system, to be around other men, and have a bedtime where somebody tells them what to do and when to do it. And these same men are out on the road saying, nobody can tell me what to do, but you want to go inside and have a bedtime. You want to work for pennies on the dollar. When all you need to do is change the product that you have and do different things with it. We have the resources. We are we set popular culture. We are culture. Our music, everything about us is stolen from everybody else wants it. So why don't we want what we have? We have the resources to do better than what we're doing. But again, we're trying to be like them. We're not them. We're we. They follow us. They came from us. We are the originators. We are the trendsetters. We do the things every single day that they want. And we forget sometimes how powerful we are. Hundreds of years ago, we did less. We did more with less. Think about that for a second. Black Wall Street, we gave money to them. They came to us for money. Now we're going to go beg them for money? No. Motown was started with $800. Look what we put out with that. The Motown sound was created because he put a hole in the ceiling. For extra echo. No big electronics, no big anything. We were able to do so much because we had the ingenuity. And we keep every time, oh, we need to do something. We need to go apply to the government for funding. No, we don't. Just do it. Build it. We have the resources. Look how many black presidents we have, CEOs of all these different companies. When you call somebody's voicemail, their voicemail has like this whole long epistle of all the things they can do because of their titles. Who cares? You should have a business card with your name on it and a phone number. That's it. You know why? Because you are the first line of defense, or you are the gatekeeper of any company you work at, because that person knows you. Make it happen. That's it.
Juice Man is in fine form. I've not heard Juice Man in fine form like this in a long time. This is good stuff. Who wants to add?
I'll add to what Juice Man just mentioned. Basically, slavery is back in effect. And before people think that this is just hyperbole, I just want to remind people the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, what was it, ratified 1865? Let me look it up here. It's a very interesting passage here in this 13th Amendment. It says, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist in the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. And that whole slogan shows you how this school to prison and back again pipeline continues to persist. So if they can get you to overstep bounds, to be imprisoned for a crime, then you're right back to exactly what Jonathan just said. You got a bedtime now. You got a bedtime now.
Clive?
Well, like I said, it is down to education. It's social engineering. The media puts out the information. Look, hip hop used to be a message, and now what? Corporations took it over, and they want to program these kids with the negative music that they have. And all these rappers are talking about crime, 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 crime. And when you've got a young teenage mind, you're impressionable. So what do you think they do? Then you can see where it goes. Once you understand psychology, that's why they don't teach it in schools, because you would understand the game. A lot of melanated people don't realize they are in a game. They think, okay, slavery happened then and everything's cool now because they're treating us a bit better. But the system, the game's not changed. The only thing is that they're making you dumb down more because they give you more treats, so that you know they're making you look that way instead of this way, or reading a book, or looking at stuff what you know is important to understand. You need to understand how things work in the real world. Like school don't really teach you the real world. It teaches you basic things like English and maths, but it don't teach you how to pay bills, how the politics works, how the finances work, how you know unity, and how you could you know have a group of people, like all the groups, whatever they are, whether they be you know Asian or Caucasian or whatever, they work as a group, and black people need to work as a group to be effective, whether it be political. The more pressure they've got as a group, like if you look at the civil rights movement with Martin Luther King, the boycott, the bus boycott, they didn't want them to be on the buses. They boycotted the buses for a year, not 2 weeks, a year. The bus company went bankrupt. You know, they used to do things in the 60s what they don't do now. Everyone's sold out and they just go for the money. But the money's not going to, you can't take the money with you. They need to look at the bigger picture if they really want change. And that's my frustration, seeing these people. Some of these people who are higher up, they know what they should do, but they really want to just turn the other cheek and they want to get paid. But it's not going to work. You know, you're not going to be satisfied with that money, no matter how much money. Like you get now, you got the Oprahs and the Jay-Z's with the billion, the P. Diddy. That money, what happens when they die? That money is going to go to their family. You know, it's not going to do anything positive with that money, and they'll still be forgotten. You know, you know, if we look back into history, who do you remember? People who actually did something. Malcolm X and Martin Luther King were not multimillionaires, but they will be remembered forever and ever because of what they did. All the people that ever did anything, whatever color they were, they will be remembered because of what they did. It's your actions, not how much money. People don't care about that. You can't fathom having $1 billion. You can't spend that kind of money. It's just, it's frustrating that these people and you know the ancestors must have turned in their grave thinking, what, all the stuff that we put up with to get you to this level, and you are wasting it. But it's not, like I said, it's down to education. And you know, in the school system, as a melanated person, you can't teach black history, real black history, because they have their curriculum. So I remember when I was younger, a teacher said, "Oh, you'd make a very good teacher," but I said, "They're never going to let me teach the truth, and I don't want to be teaching lies." You know, I don't want to. I'm not the kind of person who's going to lie to you. You know, I'm going to tell you the real deal. I'm going to give you the shortcut, the quick download. I don't believe in lying. You know, when you dedicate your life to God, I'm 100% behind that. I stand on my word. You know, back in the day, they didn't have contracts. They had your word was your bond. That's what it used to be. You know, and that's how it should be. When you know someone's got your back, they should have your back 150%. You know, but like I said, a lot of our melanated people don't understand that they are in a war. They think that everything's kosher and everything's fine, but they don't see that the tricks are being played through the media, through the school system, for the children to go straight from school to prison. They don't understand that you are kept at the bottom of with the projects, the ghettos, and all these things. It's all a monopoly game for these people at the top.
You
It is
know,
a game.
I was
Go ahead, Steve.
thinking, I was Clive just reminded me of something. I don't know if you guys heard about it from your respective countries, but there was a rapper here in Atlanta, Georgia, that was on trial, and in order to criminalize him further, what they were doing, they brought him up. This is maybe about 6 months ago. They brought him up on RICO charges because of the lyrics in his rap.
Yes, I heard.
And
Young Thug. Was it Young Thug?
that sounds right. That sounds right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Young Thug.
So, and what tickles me about that is that that's funny. You know, a guy can write some rap lyrics and get a RICO charge, but I've never seen anybody play a psychotic gangster better than Joe Pesci or Robert De Niro, but I don't think their freedom is in jeopardy.
Exactly.
That's just how serious they are about sending you right back to prison.
Juice Man, I've known you a long time, and what I heard from you and the power from you is there something that's taken this to this level for you?
I'm 55. I'm free. And I don't give, the rest of it.
Yeah, flying Fadoo.
And I got something to say with regard to that whole. There's something that you said, Clive, envy you, and it bothers my soul because hip hop this year is turning 50.
Yep.
And they've been tributes after tributes after tributes to the founders and whatever, but they forget two people, and I haven't seen their pictures up. Number one, they talk about Cool Herc. They talk about it. But the Grammy Awards happened, the BET Awards happened, the Soul Train Awards happened, and I have yet to see this man win an honorary Grammy or a Lifetime Achievement Award. Think of how much billions of dollars have been earned. Now, I've asked many people the same question. I said, who was the first MC? Everybody's like dumbfounded. I even put up a picture on my Facebook to 5,000 people. I said, who's this guy? DJs had no clue who he is. The first MC, his name was Coke Rock. That being said, I don't see people, loving him the way he should. People listen to the song by Rappers Delight. Sorry. Well, the group is actually called Rappers Delight now, believe it or not, because they can't use the name Sugar Hill Gang no more. And the person, Big Bad Hank's lyrics were from Casanova Flat.
Mm-hmm. I was watching that the other day.
From the Cold Crush Brothers. And again, where's his honorary Grammy? And I've seen all these things that and again, I know I'm taking the conversation a little bit over here, but I'm just saying that when it comes to what is black, again, we are all about today. And again, we're that people. We keep it moving, whatever. But there's a saying that everybody has been using and say, give them their flowers. These guys need more than flowers right now. They need way more than flowers right now. They need statues. You made a statue for Biggie. You need to make a statue for Coke Rock. You need to make a statue for Cool Herc. And I know they've been doing some stuff at the museum and all the other sort of stuff, whatever the case may be, blah, blah, blah. But these are the individuals. We talk about Black history, but we don't talk about those individuals who we put out there, right? We need to have a place for the unknown soldiers when it comes to Black people.
Yeah.
A place where we can say this is the grave of all the people who passed away that were part of the civil rights movement that nobody has ever heard of. You know what I mean? The person who babysat, some leader that we don't even know about. All the people that the man on the corner who said to some kid out there, don't be like me. We need to have and respect those individuals, because a kid who's 4 years old can wear an AC/DC t-shirt or a Led Zeppelin t-shirt, and everybody knows who Led Zeppelin and all these other groups are from, who haven't released a record in 19 how long,
right?
But they're calling some of the foundations of the music to which has been sampled over and over again. Like, if I say to people, everybody knows who James Brown is, but nobody celebrates his death. You know why? Because he died on Christmas morning.
Yeah.
So nobody really nobody really takes that up and says, you know, hey, the Godfather of Soul died on Christmas morning. We don't talk about that like that. We don't look at it like that. I've never seen a James Brown shirt in my life. Never seen one. I've never. If you've seen one, whatever. I haven't. I barely. We don't wear Michael Jackson on our shirt. We don't do it. I mean, like in 1983 we did it, but we don't have that on it. You know how hard it is to get a Def Jam T-shirt right now?
Huh.
I mean, have you seen a Tommy Boy shirt? You seen a Tommy Boy shirt? Have you ever worn a Motown shirt? Can you buy a Motown shirt right now? Like I'm being real with you.
Mm-hmm.
For a time period, you could get, like, if you wanted to get buckwheat on a shirt, you could get buckwheat on a shirt in Toronto for like a hot minute. But I'm just saying, some of these iconic things that were part of our culture. Yeah, we had PE. You could wear Public Enemy for a minute, but try to go find one now. You don't see that stuff all the time, and it's hard to get because it's like we don't believe in us like we used to anymore.
Trauma.
Go look for, and here's you want me to blow your mind right now? You ready for this one?
Uh-oh. He's blowing our mind so much. He blew his camera out.
I'm gonna say this to you, and you're gonna laugh. So I had a friend of mine come from Ghana, and he was here for 2 months. And I asked him, do you remember those old medallions, those leather medallions that you used to get with the Africa on the front of it?
Yeah.
You mean the red, black, and green?
I said to him, can you get those? He said, no. He says, those weren't even actually made by us. He says, if we were to make those right now, in Ghana, they would all be individually handmade. And on top of that, they would look different than what's done today because the materials are different.
Right.
But I said, can you get that medallion back again? He's like, no, it's like almost impossible to get. He talks so much about African art. And think about this. We let those African medallions go away. We wore them for a bit. We all did this. And then we let those go away. Right? And the people who are selling them for $75 and $85 are not us.
No, they're
Let me
not.
remind you of that. Why am I getting an Africa bag for $225 and it says made in China? Why am I putting products in my head that say Africa Gold on it that are not made by us? Why are there so many in this country of Canada, right? With the provinces and territories, there are only, at last count, 3 full-time Black-owned bookstores. And they exist, 2 in the city, in the province of Ontario. Actually, 3 in the province of Ontario. And they're not that far away. There are 2 downtown, and there's 1 up in Brampton. That's it. Black-owned bookstores in this country. Black-owned radio stations in this country. 0. There used to be 2. Now there's 0. Black-owned TV stations, not even networks. None. Black-owned theaters for movies. 0. I'm going to go one further. Black-owned banquet halls. At last count, 0. CEOs of companies that are basically white owned, where black people work, well, we got hundreds of people like that. Black people in this country have millions of dollars. But as far as things for the black community, zero. Take my seat.
Anyone want to add?
So again, sorry,
We
so
should
one,
probably-
sorry, one more thing.
No,
so
no, go
so when
ahead.
it comes to a seat at the table, we're not even in the building.
Ouch.
We're not even in the building. How are you in the building? How do you sit down and talk about media when you don't even own it?
Well, I own mine.
Yeah, but
interesting you said too. It's funny. I'm just going to interject for a second in regards to the whole refugee issue. I called an organization today, and it's funny. It's really funny. And I said, you know what? This is what I do. It said, oh, I've heard about you. I'm going, and I'm saying, I'm black owner. Yeah. So I'm going, okay, I had to call you, and you know that I just went, say no more. I've heard about you. And again, I don't expect everyone to know everything, but again, when it comes to media, don't get me started with that stuff, the media thing. That's a whole other conversation.
So let me ask you a question. So when they put out a narrative, and you know what I'm referring to as they,
yeah,
that is so void of what we are, and they can have a dog be the leading story every hour on their news forecast, and they're not talking about the refugees. You know why? Because they're no longer a downtown problem anymore. Right? Yeah, so they had to parade around the one person or the couple of people they put in a hotel. Right? When you have 200 people who are sleeping in the basement of a church with one bathroom. And how long has it taken you to show the conditions of where these people are living? How long is it taking you to do that? Because guess what? It's not front page anymore, right? Because again, the people who are making the decisions as to what goes on the news don't look like we. Because again, we don't own that. That's not what we call in the industry top of mind awareness.
Before we came on live, and I don't know if I had said this, the melanated refugee problem only became a problem in the news when the gentleman from Paramount Fine Foods came on and complained about it.
Correct.
That's when it became a news item in all the news. The challenge had been there for weeks, maybe months, but it was someone who wasn't fully melanated, but someone who owns a fairly big company, food company. That's when the media started. That's when it became a story.
And why is that? Like when you really sit back and you think about it, right? That every single news outlet was talking about a dog. Remember that? A dog. A dog. You know what I mean? A dog. Right? A dog.
Okay.
Woof woof. Sniff them butty. Dog. Wag them tail. Dog. Right? Puppy chow. Dog. Kibbles and bits. Dog. Right? Had a motorcade. Flag. All that stuff. And human beings are sleeping in a basement of a church. Right? With one bathroom for men, one bathroom for women. And not even the city has supplied porta potties for those individuals. Right? But you see 1,000,001 people walking their dog though with a little green bag. talking around with their green bag, walking around, hey, we want to have our dog on the leash, whatever the case may be. The flags are at half staff, and you can't even find a place for human beings to go to the washroom. Human beings want to go to the toilet too. What do you want? But if they were to defecate on a tree or cock up their leg, what would you do to those individuals? You'd make them have a bedtime, right? You'd make them have a bedtime. But you have not found a way for human beings to do something that we all need to do, which is go to the bathroom. But we can have a motorcade for a dog. Flat things that have staff. I know people who are dog lovers are going to murder me on this one, but I had a dog too. Right? But I'm telling you, what about these refugees with children? You know how hard it is for ladies to use a porta potty? I'm talking about a porta potty. Now you have, women, children, elderly people using one bathroom. And we're not talking about a handicap washroom. We're talking about one washroom for men, one washroom for women. That's it.
Okay. Juice Man, I'm gonna ask you something. Are you available tomorrow morning?
Yeah, for a little bit, and then I got to go down to the place to go deal with the whole thing with the refugees down at the church.
Would you be available to come on my morning vibe show tomorrow morning?
What time?
9 a.m.
Okay.
Before you go to bedtime, I'll confirm you get the link, because that's the lead story we're going to chat about. We talked about it on Monday morning. We want to continue because there's some perspectives that I heard today that, if they are true, and actually Ryan Knight from ACBN is going to be with me. He's going to shed some light. There's some things going on. There was one thing today he said. I just went, as my man Freddie Coleman would say, and I'm saying it more and more these days, the more I know, the less I understand.
Are you going to make me upset first thing in the morning on a Friday?
Well, I don't know.
I just need to know. I just need to know because you know what? Because again,
don't worry.
I think the reason why this bothers me so much. I think the reason why this bothers me so much is my aunt was the first immigrant Black nurse from the West Indies in Canada, and I understand she came here in 1953, and I understand how hard it was for her to get here. It took 14 months, a lot of legislation and all this other sort of stuff for her to come here. And she was a English educated nurse, because at that time, England was like the mecca of nurses. So she went to England.
My mother, same thing.
They had to go to England, get their thing, come on back, whatever. She had already, given birth to, she had already, been in the operating room as, I guess they call it, a doula, doing that over a midwife. She'd already had that type of training. She was a head nurse of obstetrics when she retired. My point that I'm saying is this, is that when are we going to treat Black people in a first world country as human beings? Because again, if a dog can get the top, what does that say about us? It really, really bothers me. Like when I sat back, I said, "Them really I do this for a dog?" No, man. No, real talk. Them really I do them things for a dog? Honestly, I had to sit back and be like, whatever. And I'm saying to myself, we had to get cans and buy food and take care of our own because nobody else will. But we pay taxes. A portion of our money is supposed to go to the less fortunate. The government is supposed to take care of refugees because they say refugees, help to society and all the other sort of stuff, and people, immigrants from all over the world. I saw what they did for other cultures and all the rest of it. And I look at my skin color and I'm saying to myself, this is 2023, and you're telling me that you sent basically millions of dollars to a country that most people couldn't even find on a map. But you have people right here in this city sleeping on the floor. No, not even sleeping on the floor. Sleeping on the street.
Sleeping on the street, sleeping on sidewalks.
You know what I mean? In downtown Toronto.
A world-class city, allegedly.
You know what I mean? And the people in power could go to sleep at night. You know what I mean? You have people of the Weston family who are making billions of dollars off of groceries every single year. And not one of those individuals went down and gave those people some food. But I must go buy food at your place and bring it down yourself. Right? You know what I mean? I still had to go buy food and bring to my brothers and sisters. People had to go get beds and pillows and feminine napkins and diapers and fill up a truck to bring to our people, because the rest of our society did not deem them worthy enough to house them. These aren't people with mental issues. We don't know that per se. But these are people who came here for a better life. And the better life you gave them is a place where they can't go to the washroom, a place where they can't shower, a place that they can't do anything else. You left them on the street. That's the better life that you promised them. Remember that.
Jonathan, it's easy to see why this is such a passionate thing to think about, because look at it this way. If you could be at peace with injustice, then something would be wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
There are plenty of people who are at peace with injustice,
I don't
as
think
we
anything
see,
else
right?
needs to be said for this conversation tonight. Anyone else want to add any final comments?
Well, I'll say something, and I said it before. We have got to look after our own. Period. We've got enough information, and from that information, we can see the actions of others. So we've got to start doing things for ourselves, for the people, by the people.
Okay.
This is it.
Clive, where can people get a hold of you?
Okay, I'm on the internet. I'm on everything. But if you want to follow me, I am on Instagram at Racism is Real, one word. I'm on Twitter at Clive Henri 1, the number 1, and you can Google me, Clive Henri, Amazon, and you will see my book, Clive Henri, Racism is Real, but shares my life story, my experiences. And I'm always down to help my brothers and sisters. Send me a message. I help where I can. I always do.
Thank you. VU, final words and where people can get a hold of you.
Well, always glad to be here among the allies, running these missions with you guys. If you want to download the many missions of Victory Unlimited, just go on over to victoryunlimitedshow.com. Thank you, guys.
Juice Man, any final words before you get some rest, before we do it all again tomorrow morning on the Morning Vibe?
Yeah, you're going to have to send me some aspirin or some Excedrin or something for tomorrow, because I know I'm going to be pissed. I'm probably going to be pissed.
That's all right.
And I'll be angry all day. I'll be angry all day. And if you need to find me, I will be at Revival Time Tabernacle sometime after the hours of 12:30. And for anybody who's expecting me to finish some work and do all that other sort of stuff tomorrow, my mission tomorrow is to make sure that, hey, those refugees are dealt with properly.
How can people get in touch with you?
Find me tomorrow. That's what you got to do. And don't come empty-handed.
All right. That's it, gentlemen. Thank you again for another great episode of Dr. Vibe Allies. We'll see you going forward. And Juice Man will be on my program that I co-host Monday and Friday mornings called The Morning Vibe. If you want to check it out, I will tell you how in just a minute. Just going to let the allies go before we close it out. Thank you, allies, as per usual, for another epic conversation as we do this. So, as I said, tomorrow morning, the morning vibe, but the easiest way to catch up on all the conversations, like the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Follow the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook and LinkedIn. As always, if you want to advertise your business or service on the show, please email me at dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. Website address, thedrvibeshow.com. If you want to email me, I've given that. YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show. Twitter, at drvibeshow. And Instagram, the drvibeshow. And I'm just going to give you information on how you can watch repeats live here. I just got to find it. Just give me a second. And if I don't have it, no worries. There we go. You can watch replays of the Dr. Vibe Show at the Dr. Vibe Show, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and website address, the drvibeshow.com. So as always, I close out with this. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy.